story. Sanford's Children's Hospital.
This is the Cares for Kids Radiothon on Y94.
Y94, Cares for Kids Radiothon, the number one hit music station, the 21st annual, and this is a kind of a strange experience for us, and that usually we are at Sanford Children's Hospital, but in the world of coronavirus, we are here at our studio and doing a lot of the Radiothon virtually for the first time ever. In the course of 20 years we're at the hospital, and year 21 we're here in the studio, and on the phone we have Mom from West Fargo. Melissa, do you hear us okay?
Yep, I sure do.
Well, Melissa, if you'd be so kind, thank you so much for taking the time with us today, but could you tell us all about the reason that you and your 9-year-old daughter, Kate, even found yourself inside Sanford Children's Hospital? What happened?
So our daughter, Kate, when she was 8, so last summer, at about the beginning of June, she started complaining of some back pain. And you know, she had been working on things for dance, back bends, things like that. So we didn't get too concerned. But it got progressively worse. It would wake her up at night. She'd have trouble sleeping. So we went through all the proper channels. We went to the walk-in clinic. We did X-rays. We did physical therapy, trying to see if she had pulled a muscle, things like that. But it just got progressively worse. And so at the end of June, she was very unstable, clumsy. She really couldn't walk on her own without holding on to somebody, which we knew obviously there was something else going on. So we ended up seeing her pediatrician, who sent us over to the hospital to do an MRI to see what happened or what was going on. And that evening on June 29th, they found a mass that was pressing on her spinal cord. So at that point, it was late when we got that news. So the next morning, we met with the neurosurgeon, who informed us she would need to take the mass out as soon as possible to prevent any damage to her spinal cord. And at that time, the neurosurgeon felt confident that it was a cancerous tumor, but of course we didn't know that for sure. And then it took a couple days or so, and the biopsy came back that she had B-cell lymphoblastic lymphoma.
Well, and that rolls off your tongue, a word that probably the average person has never said. It rolls off your tongue so easily. I'm guessing you've said that a lot.
I have, yes. I've researched it a lot, and I've talked about it a lot. Yes, for sure.
So, what are some of the first feelings that are going through your head the first time you heard that word come out of a doctor's mouth?
You know, I probably had the doctor repeat even the word cancer to me numerous times. You know, it's everybody says it, but you never expect that you're going to be in that position, and then just like that you are, and it's very, very hard to wrap your head around that. You know, and when you're having trouble trying to comprehend it, it's even harder to try to explain that to an 8-year-old who can read the faces of her parents and the doctors and everybody and know that something is definitely wrong. So luckily our doctor, you know, asked if we would like her to explain what cancer was to Kate. And I'm very thankful that she did that for us, because she explained it, and you know, Kate obviously was not fully comprehending. Her biggest concern was she didn't want to have the cancer that makes your hair fall out. So of course we had to explain to her that it was actually the chemo and the medicine that would help her that made the hair fall out, not actually the cancer. But you know, as an 8-year-old, that's her biggest concern right off the bat.
And Melissa, so she's, like you said, at the time she was 8 years old. Cancer. How did she, you know, really take all of this, like finding out that she had cancer, first of all, knowing that things were going to change, her hair was going to fall out? You know, I know you guys said that the doctor had told her, but how did she take it after?
You know, Kate is a very outgoing, bubbly, in charge kind of girl, and this really took her down because, you know, she had no control over anything. Her life changed literally, you know, overnight, literally. And, it was very hard. She just shut down. She struggled just doing everyday tasks. I mean, that on top of just having, back surgery and then immediately starting chemo within 7 days. It really took her down. It was very difficult to, we were worried that maybe she wouldn't even be able to, keep fighting and get through it because she just mentally wasn't there, to start out with. It was very difficult.
And how was it for you learning that, and how do you deal with everyday life while she's going through the treatment? You have a period of grieving where you can't quite comprehend how you're going to do the next day, especially with two other children at home that are also affected by it. But at some point, you just you rely on the support of family and the staff at Sanford and doctors and everybody, and you keep going every single day.
Well, I got to imagine, Melissa, any parent that's listening is probably just shuddering at the idea of realizing at age 8, age 9 that they're dealing with childhood cancer. I mean, where are you guys now? How are things going?
So she's been doing this now for a little over 6 months. We have a long ways to go. So half of her 8th year of life was battling cancer. All of her 9th year will be battling cancer, and most of her 10th. So, when you look at that, it's such a huge section of childhood. But also, she's doing well with treatment. I mean, we're super thankful for that. And, in a way, we kind of look at it as this is going to help shape her. It's going to help her, make her story for her life. So we try not to look at it as, so much of a negative, although it's difficult for sure. But I mean, at least she's handling things well. She has come to terms with it. She talks about her cancer. And yeah, I mean, we couldn't ask for anything more at this point.
Be a lot of next year as well. What is it like for you guys to be at Sanford Children's, to be on the Children's, the Peds ward with, the child life specialists and everything that they have to offer? What does that mean to you guys?
So, like I said at the beginning, it was really hard for Kate, and obviously it's really hard for us. We went from having to carry her into appointments and carry her into the hospital and things like that, to her, pushing the button and waving down the hall all the way at the nurses and the child life people, everybody that she has grown to love and truly believe that are her friends. Like, I mean, she almost looks forward to it, as much as it's not fun to be in the hospital, especially when we have the unexpected days with fevers and things like that. But even when she's not feeling good, they just have a way of bringing her some joy in a really hard time. And when she is feeling good and we're there, they're goofy and they're exciting for her. She gets to do new things all the time. And like I said, when she isn't feeling good, they know how to handle that too. And it is such a huge relief for us as parents, because at some point we can only do so much for her. So you need the extra help. You need the people there that are willing and able to care for her.
Do you think seeing her when she's doing well, and now that she can talk about it, she's understanding her treatment, does seeing her take things so well make any of this easier?
Yes. I mean, that is the thing, is from the beginning, I wasn't sure how we were going to actually proceed because of how she was feeling and how she was handling it. But now, as scary as it is when we start new treatments or new issues that come up, whatever it might be, she really does handle it well. And I think a lot of it is she's excited to see the people that she's grown to really love. And for us, it makes a world of difference to walk into a hospital knowing sometimes we're there for 2 days, sometimes we're there for 7. And it's not as hard for us to make that walk in knowing that she is comfortable there.
Well, Melissa, so many of the stories that we hear during the Cares for Kids Radiothon, you go 30 minutes to an hour plus in any direction. And at some of these communities that say, well, the reason we ended up in Fargo at Sanford Children's Hospital is because in our community, all we have is a clinic, or we just don't have anything like that here. You guys are fortunate enough to be in West Fargo, so this hospital is just minutes away from your home. What does that mean to your family? What would it have meant to your family if this wasn't here and you'd have had to gone to Minneapolis, for example?
Yeah, and we think about that all the time, and we think about the people that do have to travel. I mean, when you go through something like this, you list the positives and the negatives, and definitely a positive is for us to be here by this. I mean, it's hard enough on a family just to even deal with cancer at all, even when a hospital is 5 minutes from you or the clinic is 10, but to have to be farther away and to travel, separate from your family, things like that. I mean, we really feel for the people that have to do that. We're so fortunate to have our medical facility here.
Well, for those that haven't donated yet, Melissa, I mean, you're going to become very, very, very familiar over the next couple of years while you guys battle this with your daughter, with this children's hospital. For those that aren't as familiar, what would you say is the reason they should pick up the phone and dial?
Doctors to the nurses, the child life, they have gotten us to this point, and it was a hard road. And we're getting there, and we will get to the end of it, but not without them. And I know people say it again, you never think you're going to be in this situation, and then you just are. And we need them. We need Sanford. We need everybody there, and again, we would be lost without them.
Well, Melissa, we appreciate you sharing your story with us today, and best of luck to you and especially to Kate as you guys go through this, and God bless you. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye. 701-478-KIDS, 5437. Text KIDS to 35270. Do in honor of battles that are happening right now. Kate is 9 years old. Found out at age 8 she has cancer. She's fighting it. When you call 701-478-KIDS, you become part of her fight and part of her story.
It's the Cares for Kids Radiothon on 194. If we don't